This is where the fun begins.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
King Kong ain't got shit on me!
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Say my name.
And here we go.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Realish. I'm Derrick.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Matt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you been, man?
Yeah, I've been doing all right. Once
good.
again, allergies acting up, but
Yeah.
we're gonna push through.
Yes, sir.
That's all you can do. How about yourself, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Nothing more sleep can't help. It's it's the weekend, so it would be nice to get some more rest, but likely not gonna happen. But it's all good. Can't complain.
Yeah,
Can't
that's
complain.
good. That's good.
Game 2 tonight for the Celtics. So I'm excited about that. So I don't think I can actually rest.
Yeah, like I said, Celtics and 6.
Celtics and 6, man.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but before we get started, this episode is being brought to you by Champ Number One Boxers. Champ Number One Boxers is a Black-owned company down here in Atlanta. They have everything for men and women, for underwear. They have slides and shirts. The most comfortable boxers that I've ever worn. So if you guys would like to go ahead and see what they have to offer, go to the link in our bio on any social media platform, and check out what they have. By doing that, you will, and if you purchase anything, by doing that, you will be supporting two Black-owned companies at the same time. So shout out to Champ Number One Boxers, and also let me get this out the way as well. If you're watching this episode, that means you're on our YouTube channel. So while you're here, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification button as well, if you're not already subscribed. And please leave us a review. Let us know what you guys think on any of the shows, as well. If you're listening on any podcast platform, whether that's iHeart, Spotify, Apple, whatever it is, please leave a rating and a review. Preferably a 5-star rating, but if you want to give us, we would love your honest feedback and opinion. So leave us a review, leave us some feedback. Let us know what you guys think and what you guys like to listen to. Listen to us discuss, whether it's a show, whether it's a movie. We will gladly oblige to that. So got all the housekeeping out of the way. So now, as you guys know, we're splitting our episodes up 2 in a week, where we have our entertainment news beginning of the week, and then our feature presentation toward the end of the week. And this week's news is not as it's not as much going on this week, but there's a lot in terms of narrative. Let's say that there's a lot of narrative that's going around. So actually, what was the first thing we had on the thing, Matt?
Yeah. So we have like 2 topics of discussion. One of which is the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard defamation trial, which has his own timeline, public opinion. So it's a fairly complicated one, at least for me to wrap my head around. And then the other, it's obviously a bit more, both are serious in their own way, but this one, shouldn't be taken lightly, and that is Moses Ingram, who stars as the character Reva in Obi-Wan Kenobi, has been facing numerous, racist messages on social media. So I thought it'd be nice sort of use this platform as a way to, bring awareness to a very real issue that takes place for people joining any kind of franchise. Right. It's unfortunate reality.
Yeah, man, it is. Which one are you gonna get into first?
Yeah, I mean, I think Johnny Depp and Amber Heard probably can take us the longest, so I figured we could start off with that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we sort of want to give a quick breakdown of what's been happening. I know it just lasted for a few weeks at the very least, so we sort of want to a quick summary. I know it's kind of there's a lot to siphon through, so to speak. So
Yeah, so as everyone knows, if you been paying attention or keeping up with the story, the jury came out this week and sided with Johnny Depp during this case, throughout this case, and I'm pretty sure everyone pretty much knew that was going to happen. If you've been paying attention to the trial or even just some of the highlights, you could tell a lot that was about to happen. But Depp sued her for $50 million in damages, uh, with defamation, because Amber Heard. And let's go through the timeline real quick. Amber Heard decided to write an op-ed in the Washington Post, I believe, in what was that, 2016, I believe, and alleged that she was abused by Johnny Depp and in their marriage, and um, she didn't name him publicly in the op-ed, but she did allude to it being Depp that abused her. So because of that, he decided to file a lawsuit, $50 million in damages for defamation, and this whole thing is weird. This whole thing, I'm sorry, it was 2018 that she wrote the op-ed in the Washington Post. And one of the things that she did say was, we have an opening now to bolster, build institutions protective of women. For starters, Congress can reauthorize and strengthen the Violence Against Women Act. Um, Before that, she said, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out. Um, I didn't read the whole op-ed, to be completely honest. Amber Heard is not someone that I've really been a fan of anyway. Um, didn't really know much about her before Aquaman, to be completely honest. So uh, seeing this whole thing come to light has been very interesting. But Johnny won 15 million. He filed for 50, but he won 15. I believe they awarded her 2 million in punitive damages, I believe. Um, so go ahead and give me your thoughts on this, because this thing is really kind of like all over the place. But what I do know is that I find it very interesting because I know one part of the other trial, they asked Johnny what he lost in in regards to this whole op-ed being written. What did he lose? And he said, short enough, nothing less than everything. And as regarding to his role in the what's it called? What's the series?
Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean
Not Pirates of the Caribbean.
or
He did lose
Fantastic Beasts.
that. Fantastic Beasts. Thank you. Um, and they were in the midst of starting production when this whole thing came out. Um, which they replaced him in the movie. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name.
Miles Mickelson.
Yes. So they replaced him with him, and I didn't watch the third one. I haven't finished the second one, to be completely honest.
I've seen none,
None.
to be
Okay.
totally honest. So
But what I do remember with the first one is that Johnny did a phenomenal job with that, and I thought he was really good casting for the role. The story doesn't really feel like it follows closely with the Harry Potter storyline. It's more kind of like a loose thing, and for him to be a very integral part of that story, and then you now have to recast him in the third part. I found it very interesting that Warner Brothers decided to do that um, when it was just an allegation, and it wasn't something that was founded to be true. And I think they spoke with Johnny's ex-wife as well, and a lot of this stuff that she said was that he's not a violent person. So like this doesn't fall in line with who I know. So
Yeah.
I found it very interesting that Warner Brothers decided to go full, balls to the wall kind of thing in terms of their decision making, as well as Disney with trying to move forward with the Pirates of the Caribbean series, without him. Kind of like doing a reboot. Uh, I know they asked him if he was gonna work with Disney again on this. He said never. Um, do you think that relationship between Johnny and Disney could be repaired? And is it possible we could see an apology from Warner Brothers and Disney regarding this whole debacle?
Yeah. So here's the thing. What's most mind-boggling now are the rumors circulating in regards to those respective franchises, or those studios, we'll say, actually.
Yeah.
Disney allegedly wants Johnny Depp to reprise his role in light of the verdict. Warner Bros. Is rumored, so there's no like true evidence to support this. And for all we know, this could be coming from sources who are in favor of Johnny, right? So this could be like an intentional, spew on Amber Heard. But apparently, Warner Bros. Wants to remove her from the film and have her character die of childbirth in the opening scene.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't even know what to say about
it's
that.
very specific. Now that aspect is more theory based because again, more rumors about Aquaman 2 have come out about how her character is supposed to be giving birth at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
So chances are any scenes they removed would be after the fact, or they'd probably bring in Jason Momoa for a reshoot to film.
That's a very expensive move or expensive decision to make.
Yeah, and it's a complicated one, and I think the relationship, and speak to what you asked earlier, I think the relationship between Johnny and Disney is forever severed.
Yeah.
I don't see a reality where he returns unless they offer him a large, and I mean like a large sum of money
and ownership.
Yeah, and exactly, right.
Yeah.
So to where maybe give him, I'm not sure if he executive produced some of the movies in the franchise, but maybe give him a credit there, just so he has sort of his creative input. But nevertheless, I mean, sort of like you were saying, I mean, his reputation, has fortunately been restored for the time being. But like you said, it's a very difficult case to wrap my head around, given how I don't know. It's just like apparently there's like mountains of evidence to at least on Amber Heard's side, suggest Johnny was the initiator, the abuser.
Yeah.
Yet none of them saw the light of day. So I don't know if because again, I'm not familiar with how evidence can be suppressed in the court of law, as we all know. So yeah, as you can see, we're kind of like sort of having to unravel, what's been going on. But did you sort of have an opinion going into the case, or were you just totally like oblivious to what was really going on? Because I was kind of the same way, where I was sort of waiting until things took over before I started to follow through.
Yeah, I personally with anytime it comes to the entertainment business, I'm not really like, and really any other type of genre, I really don't try to get into people's personal business. Like, I really don't bother myself with that. It's just I want to like just make the art. I will pay attention to that, and your personal life is your personal life. I really don't want to get into it. With this though, I will say when things first came out, I did not believe her. I didn't believe her because there was a lot of things that she was saying that I didn't, or that was being alleged, that I was just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. I was really looking kind of like side eye because I really I it did a lot of stuff kind of seemed off to me with her and how she was presenting everything and what she was saying about Johnny and all that stuff, and then how fast everyone was to ostracize him from working and stuff like that. It was very interesting to me. There was talk of her with Aquaman 2. There was talk of a petition being signed that to remove her from that film maybe about like a year and a half ago, something like that.
Yeah,
You know,
which actually gains 3 million signatures.
yeah, I think I signed it.
Oh, did you?
I
Oh,
think I did.
did
I
you?
think I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
because my thing was that like I don't have like this is the thing that makes it harder for people that are actually going through certain things like this to be believed, right?
Yeah, no,
And
I understand. She
that
lied repeatedly on the stand.
yes, she did, and paying attention. I didn't watch the trial that much, but I would pay attention to like different little highlights and stuff like that. And every single time, it seemed as if her her story changed a lot, um, and Johnny's was more consistent. And I don't know, man. This is just weird because I don't really like uh getting into people's personal lives. But when you have someone that's willing to put their stuff out there like this, lie about it, to me, my question is, what's the purpose of it? Like, what was her reasoning for doing the op-ed to begin with?
It's confusing, and I think in the beginning, so I don't want to give out misinformation. So for anyone watching, if what I say is incorrect, please inform me. I believe like the original argument her lawyers were trying to pose was, she didn't write the op-ed. I want to say that.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the moment she got on the stand, like one of the Depp's lawyer like asked her, what is the reason you're in court today? She literally says, I'm sitting here because of an op-ed I wrote.
Yeah, yeah,
Why would
yeah,
you know what I mean? So if
yeah.
you're trying, that was confusing. I could be wrong about that, but I know it was just they mentioned something about like trying to disprove her writing the op-ed
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, and then she outright confirmed it.
Yeah.
Um, Second, I suppose we can go into like the list of lies. The most prevalent lie to me, and I know this isn't very much related to um the defamation itself, and more so her tendency to be like this pathological liar,
Mm-hmm.
was this whole pledge thing, right? This whole the charity she promised, like after the divorce
Yeah.
settlement,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
had $7 million. So one was to be 3.5 was supposed to be given to the UCLA, and then 3.5 to another organization
Mm-hmm.
that I can't remember that, or I can't remember if it's like the 7 million goes to UCLA, but it goes to different departments. I don't remember what that distinction is exactly, but in any case, she basically promises like to donate right to this cancer institute, and then on the stand she goes, "I pledge the entirety," and the lawyer kept asking, "Did you, as of today, you have not given $7 million of your own money to the UCLA or the other organization?" I think there's another organization, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously don't quote me on that. And she kept saying, "I pledge the entirety." And then near the end of it said, "I use pledge and donate synonymously." You can't do that because here's here's the official definition for both. Pledge definition. Look this up real quick. So this is the definition of pledge: a solemn promise or undertaking. Let's look at donation
Mm-hmm.
definition: something that is given to a charity, especially a sum of money.
Mm-hmm.
So no, those are two objectively different words. You can't use them synonymously. And I think that was just meant to sort of like add more fuel to the fire in a sense of, like if her is willing to potentially lie about her suffering abuse at the hands of death, what more is she willing to lie about just so people can be in her favor? That was sort of what the intention was behind asking her those questions, just so the jury has an understanding of what kind of character she is. Which it's actually a smart choice on Depp's legal team to do that. So
I'm very see my intrigue with this is again how fast these studios were able to just move on from Depp when we've seen other actors go through different situations and they weren't as fast to move. You see what I'm saying? And it was that's the only I think that's one of the main reasons why I was very intrigued with this because that was fast acting. And I don't know if that's because of like the Me Too movement or anything like that, which if that's the case, okay. But personally, I think that with what was being alleged, they should have taken their time to allow the facts to come out. You know what I'm saying? And then make a decision on there. If you need to pause production on those films, do that. It's been how many years has it been since we've had a Pirates of the Caribbean movie? It's been a while. It's been a while. If you want to, if you have, and the movie hasn't even started production yet, so that's why I'm confused with Disney completely. WB, okay, you wanted to move on and do it, whatever. You asked him to resign, he resigned, and you recast it. But I just find it very interesting because if for whoever has another allegation come out, that's the element that's going to be very interesting with studios moving forward. How fast are you going to act on those allegations? Because after the whole Harvey Weinstein thing, like they weren't moving fast at all, and in fact, it's been what 30 plus years, something like that, right? So they didn't act at all.
I think Kevin Spacey similar example when his his sexual assault allegations came out.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
Did Netflix like fired him like almost instantly, or was that sort of a?
I think they did.
Did they?
I think they did, and that last season was atrocious. That was.
I only
trash.
say that. Yeah, I only say that because honestly, and this is sort of something I want to address too. Is now since we can go a bit more to detail as to what Amber lied specifically, right? Just so people are, in case they're not caught up with the case, they know a bit more details. But I only bring out Kevin Spacey because he's returning in a movie. He's trying to jumpstart his career again.
He's been trying to do something for a while because I think he did some theater thing for a bit, right?
Something? It's disturbing. I think I forgot. It's just like they released the trailer for his new movie or whatever. It looks awful. It's awful. Yeah, he does not know how to act anymore. But it is right. And then literally when that trailer came out, it was not even like a few days later, and he had like 3 sexual assault charges.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I kind of stopped paying attention to Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, or something like that. It's just
he did like a Christmas what was it called? It was almost like a Christmas wish in the style of Frank Underwood from
on his Instagram
House of Cards. Yeah. And I
I
think
know
he
what you're
did.
referring to.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he did a Christmas one. I think he did a Thanksgiving one, but I think he did this twice in like 2 years in a row, and it was both of them were very very disturbing. Um, so I don't know how he's actually able to work with the studio on anything now. But I would assume any studio that uh outside of Warner Brothers and Disney that would like to do something with Johnny, I'm pretty sure he's gonna jump on it because I mean, they pretty much put his career on hold for the last 2.5, 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming he's gonna get work instantaneously with following this. Um, I just find it interesting that that's the decision that the studios decided to make, because from here on out you have no choice but to be consistent, right? If anybody that they're working with, any allegations start to come out, now I'm expecting them to do the same thing. I mean, I'm expecting them to pretty much go along the same lines of either recasting that person or that person's role, or moving on entirely from working with them ever again.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. Do you think Amber Heard will face a similar situation where I have a feeling she will, where like studios are going to cut her off, and then like a few years later to try to make like a random movie or TV show.
Mm-hmm. More like an
Do you think?
independent film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you expect that to happen?
I honestly, I'm kind of shocked that they kept her in Aquaman 2. Mainly because if you with DC, like that's Warner Brothers working with DC on this film, correct?
Um. Yeah. Wait, you're talking about Warner Bros. Working with DC?
Yeah, for Aquaman 2.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
That's
yeah.
them working with them, right? So if you're able to sever
Yeah,
the
basically.
relationship with Johnny Depp on Fantastic Beasts, why would you not do the same for Amber Heard?
It's yeah, and I think I'm actually glad you brought that up because this is actually going to lead into one of the lies. Walter Hamada, I think he's the CEO of Warner Bros.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah, he he basically so Amber tried testifying that she lost out like basically her scenes were cut from I'm sorry, he's the president of DC Films. My apologies. Basically she tried testifying that my scene like a lot of my scenes were cut. So basically she was like giving me constant revisions of the script and like her role was like here and it kept like reducing.
Mm.
And then he said like because of what Johnny's suing me for, I lost basically I'm losing like a huge like more of an opportunity to play this character or whatever. And then they brought the president to the stand and he said no, that's not true at all. We cut your scenes because of a lack of chemistry and did consider a recast at some point.
Okay.
So lie disproven, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it's just like,
So she definitely will have a reduced role in Aquaman 2.
yeah, yeah. Like I said,
Good.
don't be surprised if they kill off her character. I don't think they should. I'm a firm believer in casting Emilia Clarke as Mira.
I'm perfectly.
Have
She's
her
much better to me. I mean,
exactly.
they have
Jason, great
chemistry
chemistry. Like they
from Game
literally
of
have
Thrones.
they have an amazing friendship too. Like
Yeah.
I only say that because Jason Momoa, because Emilia Clarke suffered like I think 2 brain aneurysms while she was filming Game of Thrones. Yeah,
Did she?
yeah, and then him and Jason and their family and his family were always there for her
Yeah.
basically. So they formed a
Yeah.
strong friend. I mean they were obviously close because of working together on the first season.
Right.
I imagine. I just know that because apparently they have scenes together.
Yeah.
And then, uh, yeah. So when she, you know, had suffered those aneurysms, they were in a short period of time too. So she could have sadly passed away. Jason was always
Wow.
there for her.
I
So
did
the
not know
friendship is
that.
yeah. So the friendship is forever strong.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think Amber is like irreplaceable for that character. Like if we're gonna have Mira be someone that is a strong presence in this movie, and to be completely honest, we're already going through a reboot with DC anyway. So what are we doing here? We go through a reboot almost every 5 years anyway. So what are we doing here?
yeah,
Recast her.
she,
Recast her. It's not that hard. She's
yeah,
not irreplaceable.
that and like all due respect, right? So she can't act.
She can.
She can't like her. I think and I think I said this in the beginning. I think I said this on recording, but if I didn't, her acting coach even said, no, actually I didn't. I told you before the podcast, actually before we started recording, and that was like her acting coach. Uh, I think appeared at trial. I could be wrong though, or she, like they said on a separate occasion where she actually like she can't cry uh when having to do an emotional scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and the problem with that is that I can't. I want to say that was like in the trial. I could be wrong though. No, I did. They did address it in the trial actually, and that was the problem is that Amber Heard is sort of like remembering sort of like her alleged abuse to Depp. She didn't cry once the entire trial.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, you don't necessarily have to cry to express emotion.
Mhm.
I just find that behavior a bit suspicious.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And there's actually a moment too where she posed for a picture.
She
Like
did.
she was wiping her nose and then she
Yeah.
stopped, looked at the camera, and then started wiping again. But she wasn't wiping her nose; she was really wiping like
Side of her
the
face.
exterior part
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever. So it
Yeah.
seems like that made me lose such cute like that affected her credibility.
Yeah, it did.
Because
It
the
did.
problem is you're spewing out constant lies. You're
Mhm.
ultimately you're putting a woman in a much more vulnerable position. And in
Yeah.
fact, making it much more difficult for people who are actually going through these kinds of experiences uh, to be well believed, right? Because
Yeah.
now there's a stigma attached where, instead of, assaulters, abusers, etc., you know, uh, being convicted of their crimes, now it sets a dangerous precedent that, oh, well, wait a minute, how do we know she's telling the truth?
Right. And it's
You know?
already a stigma attached to women that come out with allegations anyway.
Yeah,
Right. So
exactly.
it's already difficult for a woman to be believed
Very
in the
true.
public eye. Um, which for some reason that's a whole other conversation. But Amber is not only did she ruin her credibility, I believe she definitely ruined whatever part of a career that she actually had.
Yeah.
Um, because I can't imagine a studio is going to line up any studio is going to line up to do work with her. Um, and I mean because she's not really that great of of an actor anyway. I don't. That's why that's to me that was the reason why I didn't understand why they didn't recast her because in Aquaman she like the character is good. She's just not great at developing the character. And in a sequel, you want to see more of that character, right? You want to see more of the story, so to speak. And I don't think she's that good of an actor to deliver on that. Um, so to me, it is kind of like it is what it is. But yeah, she's done a lot with this, but again, I think that the studios are complicit with this in terms of how they came out with this the publicity of it. Um,
Yeah. It's just
it
mind-boggling.
these studios and specifically Warner Brothers and Disney are going to have a lot of explaining to do um, moving forward. Whether they because I don't even know if they really um, addressed the trial since since the judgment came through. But even if they didn't, they're going to have a lot to explain moving forward when this happens again, because it's not a matter of if, just when. This is going to happen again with some actor, and I'm intrigued to know how they're going to handle that. You know what I'm saying? I want to know how they're going to be able to move forward with the actor either doing that is actually alleging whatever, or is the one that's being accused of whatever.
And this reminds me of Ezra Miller. Have you heard what's going on with him?
Yeah, that is very weird.
The weird thing is, so you fired Johnny in light of these allegations, right?
Yeah.
You have video evidence of him being arrested, right? Assaulting a woman. Now, that woman, we have no idea. Maybe she was a fan and they intentionally did that video. I don't know what the context surrounding it. Nevertheless, that's not a good reputation. So why aren't you firing them?
Yeah. And
by that logic, because if the allegation is enough for you to fire someone, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right. And I understand the severity of it, right? Like obviously Johnny was legitimately proven to be an abuser, right? Different story, right? You cut him off entirely. You don't give someone like that the platform, but obviously wasn't the case. So you look at it from Ezra's perspective, right? You're doing all these things in the Y, and you don't even have the thought of firing him, right? I understand if you can't reshoot the entire movie. You shot the entire the new Flash movie, so you literally can't afford a recast, right? So what you do is you release the movie, you fire them, and then you hire a new actor. Realistically, by that logic, but they're not going to do it for whatever reason. They being Warner Bros. So it's just weird. There's a weird double standard involved that I quite don't understand. And again, right, I don't want to speak out of term or anything like that. So it's just
I mean, but
all my thoughts are kind of
they're picking
all over
and
the place.
choosing. So. Yeah, they're picking and choosing though. They're not consistent. They're not consistent with the precedent they have already set.
Yeah, that, and I believe in innocent until proven guilty, right? So for all we know, in the video of Ezra being arrested, he could have absolutely been defending himself against an attacker or anything like that, right? So I don't know what the full story around that is. I'm just giving an example, right? Because if right away you're going to fire someone, then it's a bit consistent. Much. But then again, I don't know if the firing occurred after the UK trial. And a lot of people bring up the UK trial, and that's the last thing I want to bring up.
Oh yeah.
The thing with the UK trial is that they proved a few things, basically implying that yes, Depp was a abuser, etc. Here's the thing: I don't know enough about how the court system work, beyond the United States. But here's a fun fact: there is only one judge, no jury. The judge made the decision, so you had no, nobody else commenting on a scenario.
Right.
They brought in a piece of evidence, for instance, of Johnny kicking her off an airplane or something like that. And then the assistant was basically saying text messages with her about how he feels deeply embarrassed and wants to apologize to you personally, things like that. That wasn't brought up in this case. And then I only bring that up. So again, right, not justifying that behavior, because the problem is we don't know what kind of abuse. What is it, reactive abuse? The Amber strike him originally, and then the Depp out of retaliation kick her, or the Depp while under the influence, because he was actually under the influence, or the Depp while under the influence kick her or whatever because of inner frustration. That's inexcusable. You don't put your hands on somebody. You know what I mean? If you have problems, you at the very least you express a lot or whatever. And then you even have the video of Amber recording or whatever, recording him in their kitchen. And I think this is after his mother or grandmother passed away too, so he was definitely not in the best state of mind. And all he's doing is instigating him, basically did you drink all that this morning? And then near the end starts laughing. Which is weird. A lot of her photos seem staged too. Apparently he was in fact doing cocaine and other types of drugs. And the weirdest part too is that there's a photo of a kitchen table. There's a card, a vial, I'm assuming, which probably contained the coke. and then you took a picture of that at the kitchen table, which is odd because you think with someone who's like taking all these videos, pictures, etc., you don't have a single one of the drugs themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I find that really suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if maybe like again they found a way to like to suppress that evidence, but I really don't think you could. I'm not only familiar how that procedure works, but I don't think you could.
Yeah.
Something as a circle as that.
Yeah.
So sorry, I feel like I'm rambling. So
No,
sum me up if going on too long.
But Amber was the one that was taking the video and the photos, right?
Yeah, she like took photos of like her. The only photo that you could argue was like him like being totally under an influence or whatever. There's like a photo of him passed out with like ice cream in his hand or whatever, like ice cream in a cup. So there's like two photos. One where he was sleeping on a was he sleeping? He was sleeping on a chair. You can't prove anything. He's sleeping. The other was I think the other was like he was on the floor or something like that, like near a bed. I can't remember. The other was 100% like he had ice cream in his hand. The problem is like
so he relaxes a lot.
that's right. Like you know what I mean. Like you can't because you'd be surprised that there are a number of people who will literally fall asleep that way.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't prove otherwise. Like you show a jury that picture, they're like, oh, he's asleep with ice cream in his hand or whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's no like drugs on display, no alcohol, etc. It's just him straight sleeping, which is this odd behavior. Like it's just weird. And I only say that because she posted this message on social media, which was the following basically. The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the amount of evidence still was not enough to stand up to disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. Which one, right out of the gate, you can criticize. The amount of evidence you had was like mostly disproven. Okay, so where like you keep making this tale of mountains of evidence. What was there? Really? I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It is a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly seen and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. That makes absolutely no sense. Violence against women is very much taken seriously. What you did on the stand is lie on repeated occasions and set back women who are going through situations to disagree. All right.
Yeah.
Third paragraph. I believe Johnny's attorney succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignore evidence that was so conclusive to everyone in the UK. Sweetheart, congratulations. Freedom of speech still exists in the court system, and there's something called suppressing of evidence, which is legal in court systems in the United States. Congratulations. I don't know how the UK operates in that regard, but you can't bring up that like, there's an issue of freedom of speech. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you can't. There's no grounds of you to make the accusation. Last paragraph. I'm sad I lost this case, but I am sadder still that I seem to have lost the right I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly, which you can. You can't defame somebody. Like that's always been written in law. So you can't do this weird workaround or like, I really don't have freedom of speech or anything like that. I understand. Like I understand to a degree, right? Because maybe that does set a precedent of where like a woman does speak out and then or anything, but I really don't think that can be the case because to defame somebody means to defame I interpret it as like to purposely ruin someone's reputation, right? Where you have no grounds of what you're saying. If you have the legitimate grounds of this person abused me, they can't sue you for defamation. You lied, and that's why it got disproven. Like you were literally like, what's it called? Like proven to have defamed him. That's it. You just don't lie. You tell the truth. You have concrete evidence, and then God willing, the person in question is exposed for who they really are. It's really as simple as that. You can't like, or I don't say it's simple, but like in terms of like, like common sense knowledge, I guess. In that regard.
But see, the thing about it is you can't. Look, freedom of speech is definitely a thing in this country, correct?
Absolutely.
The problem with it is that people use that as an excuse to not have consequences behind what you say. Like you could say whatever it is you want to say, for sure. You can say whatever it is you want to say, but you cannot be upset about the consequences that you experience for saying something that is either proven to be a lie, to be wrong, to be completely incorrect. Like you can't get mad at the consequences. You said what you wanted to say, but now that you said what you said, and in saying what you wanted to say, you defamed someone, you now have to suffer the consequences for doing that. The freedom of speech does not negate consequences, and that's good or bad.
Yeah, it's
Right.
yeah,
It's so it doesn't matter what it is that is being said. If you say something, you will have something that follows what you say. That's a basic concept. So yeah, I mean, Ember is going to have she's going to have a very interesting time with casting for other projects after this. She's going to have a very interesting time because now I think it goes one of two ways. I think one, there will be studios that will want to work with her because they're smaller studios that if her name is attached, now they'll get more views
to bring in
because
like a specific audience. Yeah, I
yeah,
get what you mean.
because of this case. But for bigger studios, she's not going to get like this is pretty much going to solidify that she's not going to be able to advance her career as an actor. She might get some smaller roles, but it's not going to be anything that, at least not right now. I think there's going to be a time where she could possibly be on a bigger project, and some people, like, as most things happen, uh it will be something that people will likely forget in about a year or two, and won't even be, I mean, in 2 to 3 months this is not even a conversation anyway. But it's going to be something that I think she might be able to get one of those smaller roles, but she's, in terms of a lead or co-lead, she's not going to be, I don't expect her to be in that position. She's not that good of an actor. Like it's like it's not even just based off this case. She's not that good of an actor. You know what I'm saying? So what, like, it's not as if we're missing anything. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Johnny is an actor. Like he is an actor for real. She's not. So when you're talking about recasting his role, that's a significant hit on the project. Either way, you talking about recasting her role, we don't miss you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the same. It's not the same. So I do believe that she's done herself a great disservice with this, but that also means that she didn't think before acting.
yeah, yeah. And I think one thing I do want to say, I do apologize for saying sweetheart. It was in a very condescending manner,
Uh,
but in the heat of rambling,
yeah, yeah,
so
you
so
get,
I want
I
to
guess.
obviously I don't want to like stoop to that level and act condescending. So I just
Yeah,
want to issue that apology. But I absolutely agree with what you're saying.
yeah,
Absolutely
it's
agree.
it's it's gonna be one of those things that I think ends up following her for a while. I think it's gonna be as big as the Harvey Weinstein thing. No, no, because especially when this is another aspect of it. Movie execs that are, and I don't want to put the stereotype out there, but um male male movie execs that will be out there looking to cast for specific roles, I think are going to be easily swayed by her. I definitely believe that she will be able to manipulate her way into getting some roles, but it's not anything to do with talent.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with talent. And I hate talking about someone like that. Like, I don't want to say she has no talent at all, but when it comes to acting, she's not a good actor.
So, I mean, she probably gave like the best performance of her lifetime in the trial with no tears, but
And even that, like, watching parts of the trial, it was not a good performance.
Yeah,
Not a good
Sister so
performance.
like you said, Sister Story was so inconsistent and unbelievable at times that
Yeah.
even if there was a piece of evidence that supported what she said, it was hard because then again you have sort of you keep in mind her behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like asking these questions, but who's to say, right, that Amber didn't initiate something before said recording, before
Yeah.
said image,
Oh yeah.
or anything like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
we just don't know for certain,
Yeah.
and that's it's mind-boggling. It really is.
This is very intriguing and disturbing on many levels. So I wish nothing but the best for Johnny Depp moving forward with his career. I would like to see Warner Brothers issue an apology. I would like to see Disney issue an apology as well. But I don't think they're going to do anything, at least not Warner Brothers. I think Disney, because they're actively trying to get him to come back for Pirates of the Caribbean. I believe they will try and issue an apology or get back in good graces with him. But money talks, man. Money talks. I know he said in the trial that no amount of money will bring him back to the franchise, but like we said earlier, I think if they give him the credits and allow him to have like uh one of those Denzel Washington types of contracts where he gets stuff on the back end um included, that franchise is big, man. I can't see where that isn't something he would take into consideration. So I know in the heat of the moment you say like never, you say never, but you like never say never. Honestly, I think money can talk, and I think they could bring him back, but it depends on what they're willing to give, because right now the price has gone up for sure. The price has gone up, so we'll see what happens, man. Wish him the best. Amber Heard, you know, I don't know what to say about her, but it is what it is at this point. It just is what
Yeah.
I have nothing more to say about her.
Yeah, I think now, people should move on. Don't treat this as a reality show. This is obviously something,
Yeah.
very serious, right? Because there's a lot of weird edits on TikTok and Instagram, and it's just,
Those are hilarious.
yeah, sometimes for me, sometimes enough is enough. I think that this trial has never been televised. This should have very much been behind closed doors. But look, at
Yeah.
the end of the day, the verdict is what it is, and we'll see what's in store for Johnny and Amber in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Dwayne from Pastor Ox and Life's a Botch podcast. I'm coming to you with a real dope advertisement if you got a moment. Can we do that? Peep this. Yo, you tired of that uncomfortable feeling with your undergarments? You know what I'm talking about. Like, literally having to adjust so it gets real comfortable in between the, the real safe space. Or maybe just wedgies from it just going underneath, you know what I mean? All that. Let's keep it in 100. Y'all know how I'm feeling. Y'all know how that feeling goes. Well, I want to introduce to you the ultimate solution coming from the #1 premium and fit athletic wear just for you. I'm talking about none other than Champ #1 Boxers. Champ #1 Boxers is a black-owned underwear brand, okay? They literally specify in giving you the most top-notch, high-quality, premium, adjustable and fittable and totally comfortable undergarment wear that is just for you. Not only is it something that you can wear, feel good in, feel confident in, and love, but it's also high quality, feels good, and most importantly, it is definitely fashionable, okay? Comes in a different, wide variety of so many different styles and themes to these undergarments. Something to make you look good, feel good, and swag real good in the process, all right? So, again, did I get to mention that this is also a black-owned brand? It's a black-owned brand, y'all. So if nothing else, definitely go support that 100%. So what I want to do is I want to tell you, head on over to OTS Media Co. on all social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. If you go over, you click the link in the bios, it'll take you straight to the Champ No. 1 Boxers website. You can check out all their styles, you can check out their bundle deals, you can check out why this brand exists, what it's all about, and trust me when I say you do not want to miss out on the types of opportunities going on right now on the site. Champ No. 1 Boxers. Make sure you do it for the champ in your life if you ain't already doing it for yourself, champ. All right? Champ No. 1 Boxers. Make sure you go cop those. All right? All right.
Yeah, so I guess we can move on to our last topic of discussion. Again, a serious one. Moses Ingram, who stars as the character Reva in Kenobi, has been dealing with a lot of racist DMs. She provided evidence of this a few days ago on her Instagram story. Someone saying that she's nothing more than diversity hire. Someone saying that you're not the first. Insert the N-word in Star Wars. Another person saying your days are numbered, which is just a death threat. And normally this would be a time where I sort of ask what your thoughts are on this, but I feel like our thoughts are going to be mutual, and that is enough is enough. And here's the thing, and I don't mean to generalize. If you're not this person, that doesn't pertain to you, right? Let me phrase it like that. Star Wars fans are some of the most stuck up and immature people on the face of the internet. It is bad. And the problem is you have one side of the community, right, who's open-minded, who at the very least respects everything that, basically everything, that is released from George Lucas, Disney, etc. And then you have the other side, right? And the other side being like this huge toxic, like the toxic cesspool, consisting of racists, transphobes, homophobes, or people who literally can't handle an opinion. When I tell you that people can't handle an opinion in Star Wars, I mean it. I mean it when I say people can handle an opinion. I have said, for instance, that Luke was perfect in The Last Jedi, right? The amount of people who said you're wrong is utterly baffling. Like, they don't understand what subjective means or what objective means. But to be on a more serious note, like, if you don't like your character, that's fine. Yeah. You bring out your criticisms, what the show can do better. But don't attack the actress. Yeah. For her skin color. Yeah. And then get mad when Star Wars posted these messages saying, if you attempt to make Moses uncomfortable in this universe, we resist. And there are over 2 million species in the 2 million species in the galaxy. Don't be a racist. They're telling you don't be racist. And people get offended at that. Like, oh, were you saying that we can't criticize the character? No. If you're not racist, you don't have to get offended by it. Yeah. If you get offended by it, people are going to think you're racist. Yeah. That's the thing. But there's no other and that's the thing. I'm just getting so annoyed at this point. Like, I don't want to watch Star Wars anymore because of these people. Yeah. It's bad. Like, you can't have a civil conversation with people without an argument breaking out. Like, I can walk into a bar with a bunch of Star Wars fans. I would say, I love the sequels. I can guarantee you I'm getting jumped by every single person in that bar. Yeah. Because it's a personal attack against them. Like, I threaten their families. Like, it's bad. I don't mean say in that regard, but it's I'm saying it exaggerately, obviously, but it's just insane. I don't know anymore. I really don't.
This is the thing though. Which this is the reason why I get annoyed with this topic, because anytime you have something like this take place, I've heard people, different people in different with different roles, whether it's political or in the studio, like whatever it is, that will say this is not who we are as a country or as a society. And this shows you this is exactly who we are as a society, where it's very interesting anytime you have a franchise like Star Wars, or even like say 007. You know, when 007 was, I think MGM came out and was talking about, you know, recasting James Bond at some point with a black character, and there was this immediate uprising saying, "Oh, James Bond is not black." No, James Bond is a fictional character. James Bond could be whoever, honestly. He could be a black man, he could be Asian, he could, you know what I'm saying, he could be any race, um as long as he's from like the UK. That's the biggest portion of his story, right? He's from the UK, he's British, he's a British character. You can't tell me that all British people are all white. You see what I'm saying? So if you're talking about Star Wars, Star Wars takes place in a galaxy far, far away. That's the opening line. It takes place in a galaxy far, far away where you're okay with aliens. You're okay with these characters that are robots. You're okay with characters that have tentacles on their face or whatever. They could be orange, green, yellow, purple, all this stuff. But the very moment you have a black woman show up, isn't now the line. No, that's too far. So it's okay for an alien that doesn't look like anything but like a sea creature. It's okay for that person, that character, to sit here and talk and all that stuff and be active in the film. But the very moment you have a black woman show up, now it's this is an issue.
Yeah.
For how many years has Star Wars been out? Since the 60s or 70s?
70s,
yeah. How many black people have we had in this series? James Earl Jones was the voice of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I have never heard anybody have an issue with James Earl Jones being the voice of Darth Vader. Granted, he was wearing a mask. You didn't see him, right? But his voice is powerful, and you're okay with that. But the moment there's a black woman that shows up into the picture, now that's an issue.
It's weird behavior, and I think you hit the nail right on the head, which is apparently it's woke to bring in people of color or introduce characters with different sexualities. That's not woke.
That's not the problem.
I don't even know what the definition of. I really don't know what woke is, to be honest. Like,
the definition for woke is it evolves constantly.
That's why I'm
depending on who you're talking to. That's a problem. There's no concise.
Exactly why I'm confused, because
there's no concise definition for anything, because people have their own definitions of whatever this said thing is. People have their own definition for it. Now with this, it's not a. We have moved into an era over the last few years where you're seeing studios be more intentional with casting and with developing of different types of characters. So it's long overdue, right? It's long overdue, but it's something that is good to see, because you're showcasing the diversity that's within your own society. How is that something that you're actually able to be upset about? You have people of all walks of life. If we're only going to talk about this country, right? This country is a melting pot of different races, religions, perspectives, You know what I'm saying? Like it's a melting pot of everything, good, bad, or indifferent. It's a little bit of everything. So if projects want to reflect that, there's nothing wrong with that. It's the problem that people have is because they're not only seeing white people in these roles. That's their only problem. That's what they're upset about. I guarantee you, you're going to hear something about this new Game of Thrones series, House of Dragons. I believe there is a black character that's in there, right? But I guarantee you, if they decide to make that black character, because again, I don't know much about the series, but if they have that black character become one of the bigger characters on the series, I guarantee you there's going to be a fight against it. But in Game of Thrones, we have nothing but white people.
Yeah. So I'm glad you said that, because I can guarantee. I'm glad you said that, because I can guarantee you, if they said, like a black actor was the lead, right? Let's say they confirmed like he will be the lead of the show, etc. If you hit that comment section, there's gonna be 3 words or three the same copy and paste of comments. Who cares? Who, like, literally, why should we care about this? Number 3, can we just have, like, good characters?
Yeah.
The same 3.
Yeah.
It's on IGN all the time. That's why I'm curious. Like, they most recently brought in, I think they being I think it's like Disney in collaboration with the book creators or whatever. Like that, but High Republic books are coming out. They created these non-binary characters or whatever, and it's like it's a landmark, right? Those are their first 2 ever in the franchise. What do you see in that comment section? 3 things: who cares? I want, like, why are we focusing on this? And number 3, all I want are good characters. Fun fact: you could have someone who's non-binary be a good character.
Bro, that's the thing that I never understood about the logic, because people, as soon as it goes against what you are, right, people have an issue with it. Doesn't matter if you're talking about a race, if you're talking about sexuality, gender, it doesn't matter, right? There's going to be pushback on anything that's not white and straight. If you're now a white heterosexual male, there's going to be pushback.
Or if if you frame a headline a certain way, you'll get those comments too. Like you just have to say this person's been cast.
Yeah. See, that's that. Now I will say that is one thing that for me, when it comes to a lot of these films, I'm perfectly fine with seeing someone that has a different perspective than me. Perfectly fine with it, or a different experience than I do. I am perfectly fine with that. So whatever that looks like, I'm perfectly fine with. I just don't. I don't like when I see certain projects, and I can't remember. There was one I was actually talking about a couple of months back. But you can tell when there's certain projects where it seems like they're just kind of they're going overboard with certain things. But I don't have a problem with seeing it in films or a series. I just think that there's sometimes where you can tell that there's a heavy push for whatever, and it doesn't feel organic in terms of the diversity in whatever. You know what I'm saying? I think there's certain times where it doesn't matter if you're talking about LGBTQ community or if you're talking about black or white. Like, for example, the Superman casting. There's been rumors of a black Superman, right? And I'm perfectly fine with seeing a black Superman.
Yeah,
my problem is you already have one in Henry Cavill, which we still have not closed out. If you're not closing out this specific iteration of the DCEU, I don't want to see that. Now, if you introduce a new iteration of it, which they are going to do at some point, If you introduce that and lay the groundwork for that one, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and I feel like it's sad too because there's always this exterior motive.
There is.
Well, there's a motive for everything.
For
right?
everything, yeah.
Like for instance, when you cast somebody, why do you typically cast one? You feel like they're most qualified for the role. They impressed you in the audition process. You offer them the opportunity to play the character, right? Yeah. That's normally how it goes.
Yeah.
Other times, people or studios are actively seeking like I'll give an example, like a Idris Elba like person,
right?
Or things like that. So the problem now is when studios are doing what you said, right, which is they're sort of trying to force in diversity unorganically. And for me, I can't cite specific instances of that. For me, I love seeing. I love the idea of people being able to see parts of themselves in characters. So I can't think of any I've never seen it. For me personally, I've never seen concrete examples of that. So I don't want to make any assumptions. So for me, I look at it and I think it's so hard for me to identify what's forced and what's not forced because I've never. That's not something I necessarily had to wrestle with growing up. Because for me, I just watched films for what they were. Growing up, I never realized the significance of representation, so I just accepted, films and TV shows as what they were. And then, now that I'm much older, I sort of realized, like, wow, like I'm sort of missing out on, there being more Hispanic actors. I'm of Puerto Rican heritage, so I've never really been exposed to like as many Spanish-speaking films as I wanted, for instance, because they're not as widely marketed.
Right.
Obviously, I'm not sure if obviously. Spanish-speaking film, chances are, is releasing in the country it originated from, obviously, but it's things like that. So I understand what you mean. It's just, it's just unfortunate now that there has to be you just have to to say this person's cast. That's it.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with the announcement of it. Just there's certain times where they will cast it and they will be very heavy with the announcement of, oh, this person is a transgender, this, that, and the other, right? Personally, I just let me see the story. I don't care about the announcement. I just want to see the story, right? So like when we discussing Euphoria, for example, what was her name? What was Rue's girlfriend's name again? Jules. So in the beginning of the series, it was discussed that she was transgender, right? But because of their lack of development with the character, I completely forgot about that. I didn't remember that until you and I discussed it. At least the first season. I didn't remember that she was transgender. I'm just watching the story. And then they discussed more of that in the second season, right? And kind of like developed that storyline for her, right? And I'm perfectly fine with understanding the story, because I think with films and shows, that's a great way to teach someone the struggle of someone else's, like being able to teach other people different people's struggles. That's a perfect way of being able to do that. So I'm perfectly fine with seeing someone else's story that I'm not, again, I don't have the experience of being able to understand what it is they go through or stuff like that. I think it's perfectly fine. I just think that when you have, it's fine when you're developing characters that are not already established or not real characters that you're changing to be something else. So, God, there was an example I just had and I've just lost it. Okay, for example, like Wolverine, right? If you're taking the actual character of Wolverine and trying to make Wolverine into a woman, to me that doesn't make sense, right? That's already an established character.
Yeah, it reminds me of
changing the gender of the character, that's now making it, that's something that's already been established. that's now taking it to be something that doesn't fit
like
the
purposely different and unnecessary. When you have X-23, for instance, who is already
the same
the
type of
daughter of
character.
Logan. Yeah, exactly. And then you also have what's it called? Oh, I think I think I want to say I discussed this on the podcast last week. If I didn't, DC announced, I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure they announced it or whatever. But you know the character Plastic Man?
Okay, yeah.
So basically, they're casting Leslie Jones in a gender swap version.
Yeah.
And I don't know enough about his character, other than he's very perverted. So I even went on to say, like, I feel like the intention behind his character, if you were to just do like, the regular version, so to speak, would be how men tend to have this like weird obsession with women and invade their privacy. Like Plastic Man epitomizes that, and sort of like, this is mainly on assumption, but he's perverted. I'm assuming he's doing those kinds of things. So it makes sense for the audience to not necessarily root for him, and for him to have to discover that like his behavior is unacceptable, and that he needs to be treating women for who they are, human beings rather than objects. Right, and that tends to be like most men are attributed to, right?
Right.
Because it's very much the case in society. So you do the gender swap version, you lose that. You lose the intention of the character. And this is me assuming, right? Like that's just right, because I know nothing about the character than that. So it's just like a bizarre casting choice, because I feel like you're just doing it in light of Ray Fisher seemingly leaving the franchise. As you know, he suffered racial abuse on the set of Justice League, for those who are unaware. So it's like Warner Bros. Is like picks and chooses, or the studios in general, like picks and chooses when they want to introduce people of color, or they purposely make a deviation from the comics for the sake of diversity, rather than, like you said, having it be organically, or creating original characters, or making more obscure ones in the comics come to life. So then,
like Peacemaker.
Yeah, it's a great example.
We don't know much about Peacemaker before the Suicide Squad came out, right?
Yeah,
we didn't know much about him, and they're making him. I still don't know anything about him outside of what I've seen on HBO Max, right? But from what I understand, it was John Cena's call, I think, to make Peacemaker either more gender fluid or I'm sorry, not gender fluid. I might be miscategorizing the term, but to be, I guess, more kind of like a bisexual character.
Oh, Peacemaker?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What he says in the show, I was like, yep.
And guess what? I'm perfectly fine with that. You know why? This is a character that we don't really know much about, so there's not much fight in terms of like the foundation of the character.
Yeah,
that, and to be completely honest, even like to me, sexuality when it comes to specific types of roles, whether like comic book characters, gay or straight, I really, sexuality isn't a part of comic books. Like, we don't see Spider-Man having sex. We don't see Batman having sex. We don't see Daredevil having sex. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So to me, sexuality in a lot of those characters, to me, isn't as big of an importance to me when we're not seeing them in the comic books. You see what I'm saying? Like, to me, that it's not as big of a thing. But if you're going to come out with a character that you're making sure that we understand that this person is gay, or is whatever, I'm perfectly fine with that, because we understand, we've already established that Spider-Man is a straight guy or heterosexual guy. We've understood Batman is a heterosexual male. We've understood this with Superman because their relationships with like Catwoman, Mary Jane, Lois Lane, like we understand that they're heterosexual characters, right?
And I'm glad you said that, because like they made Clark Kent's son Did they make him bisexual? They made him bisexual or homosexual, but basically everyone started like there's so much backlash on the internet. People were saying, "Oh my god, like DC turned Superman gay," and it's like, so like he's not Clark Kent.
It's not the same character.
He never had, and you want to know the funniest part? He never had an established love interest before. His sexuality was never
never
confirmed.
known.
Happened with Tim Drake too, because Tim Drake was confirmed to be bisexual.
Yeah. They just I think they did that
never
like 2 years
literally
ago, right?
his sexuality was never addressed.
Yeah.
So why are you upset?
If it's not something that's addressed already, I'm perfectly fine with whatever direction you want to go.
No,
I don't care.
Yeah, if they change it for the sake of changing it, like if the character's already been established as straight in the comics or whatever for God knows how long, I don't understand why you change that, because again, you're missing out on the wealth of other characters who are already LGBTQ, and once again can allow for better representation in your films, TV shows, etc. So the larger point of it all is, it's just representation is not bad. Everyone being the ones who are complaining about, connecting back to Moses Ingram. So don't target the actors. Just stop. Like there's no reason for that. Yeah. And I feel like now that we've been doing this podcast, I feel like it's also like an obligation to to bring awareness to this, because as we discussed for the past 20 minutes now, it's a very it's not really a complex issue. It's a very simple one. The fact of the matter is this: it's that if you choose to be racist, you have no place in any community. Choose to be homophobic, no place in this community. Transphobic, no place in this community. It's as simple as that. Yeah. And if you can't handle the fact that a black woman is one of the leading characters in a Star Wars show where people are literally using laser swords to fight each other, you have alien species, you have stormtroopers who can't aim for anything.
Speed warp.
Hyperspace.
Yeah.
Just stop.
That's the thing that I'm very annoyed with, is people trying to establish some type of guidelines in a sci-fi story where anything is possible.
Literally. So
what are we upset about?
I don't know.
That doesn't even make sense.
Disney's woke is apparently. There's no. It's utterly stupid, and people think like, Disney, like people interpret it as like Disney calling them racist. No, it's as simple as this: if you're not racist, you don't get offended by what they're saying. It's not for you. Yeah. No one's saying you can't criticize the character. I was criticizing that character. Yeah. I still criticize the character. Yeah. I looked at it and I said, I saw her story. I said, that's terrible. No reason for that. And even so, that doesn't really have a place in discourse where you say, oh, I can't criticize the character. That's not the point. You can do that, but we have to focus on the fact that a real human being, right, is being negatively affected by racist behavior. It's as simple as like there's no. Well, you don't have to wrap your head around anything bigger, guys.
And like, why are they getting upset with her, but they didn't say anything about Giancarlo Esposito?
Yeah,
in The Mandalorian.
I don't know.
So
it's like a weird pick and choose thing, or if Disney doesn't like actively, it's just, I don't know. I really don't, and it's just like people already hated the character and then started attacking the actress. Don't attack the actress. And then people are review bombing Kenobi. So imagine being Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, who were practically gone from the franchise after critics bashed their films. Minus Revenge of the Sith, bashed them, right? They return. First 2 episodes, well received by both critics and audiences. Then they go online and see the very fans they're looking to do the show for are hating on them, are hating on their creation.
Yeah.
Come on. Like,
yeah.
Pick up your issues. Like, it's not even an issue. They're just saying, it's just, ran over. I just wanted to, like I said, I feel like with the platform we have is obviously important, to bring things like this up. And if you're one of those people, we categorize, stop now. Because I can guarantee you, karma very much exists, and you can't just don't be that person.
Yeah,
don't be that person.
I mean, again, this is who we are as a society, and it's sad, it's pathetic, and people need to grow up. They bottom line, people just need to grow up, get over it. Like this is what's going to take place. We are going to see more different stories instead of just like stories of white people, white straight people. There's more stories than that. So grow up. There's more. Yeah, and whether you want to watch it or not, hey.
Yeah, I feel bad for I just feel terrible for the actress, but yeah. And you want to know what's crazy? Watch her become a fan favorite. Like watch her all of a sudden become this. Easily. What was that?
Easily.
Yeah. Watch her become like this great character again, because at the moment she isn't the best. I think, just focusing on the character. And I know I kind of contradicted my bit hypocritical, as I said obviously it's not important to bring it in the discussion, but I'm not sitting around and saying she's like the best character ever, right? She's not perfect by any means.
Yeah.
But only 3 episodes came out, and we still have yet to know what her backstory is. So like, there's still time, and if people don't like it, if you don't like it, that's fine. There's no being racist, like any racism in discourse. There's no reason for that.
Yeah.
So that's sort of that was sort of on the I guess to wrap up here. That was everything on the agenda. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, just a lot to digest.
Yeah.
For these 2 topics, as you can see, I know our runtime lasted a bit longer than normal, but hey, get to have a nice conversation. So
for sure. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's let everybody know where they can find us. So go ahead and get out your social medias.
Yeah, it's gonna be Matt_T29. As always, thank you for the support, and stay tuned for the next 2 episodes that'll be coming out.
Yes, sir. And you can follow me at Derrick_OTS. That's DERRICK. But again, follow the brand on all social media platforms, OTS Media Co. All social media platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, it's OTS Media. Check us out on our website, otsmediaco.com. You can check out all the other shows, articles that we have posted. Again, please leave a rating and review. Let us know what you guys think. And what you guys want to hear us discuss in future episodes. And we thank you guys for watching and or listening. We will catch you guys later this week, actually. So catch you.
Peace, guys.